Me, I got it, well, look here. The options are absolutely clear. But is there perhaps another way to find people remotely, like possibly through the internet? Anyways, at least do you know how to find people who might have a yacht for cheap or even almost for free? Maybe, I don't know, like renting it for a while or something like that. It doesn't really matter, right? So, is it possible to do this without being at a marina? Because let's say I'm in Bulgaria and there are some yachts here, but not that many. So in Montenegro, you can easily go there, but let's say there are people who don't have that nearby and just want to go to see if there are any available or abandoned yachts. It's a bit tricky, so is there any alternative to do this online?
Yes, of course there is. There are local forums where you can communicate, and you can also write directly to marinas asking them if they have a yacht, for example, that nobody wants. I'm ready to take it off their hands in the dry dock. So marinas are divided into two parts. These are the pontoons where the yachts are docked, and there's the dry dock where people do their work on the yachts. Most often the dry dock operates a bit like an independent organization, and they may be associated with the marina. So if you want to find out if the marina has such yachts, you need to specifically check the dry docks. So the contacts are available on the marina websites. And often there are such yachts in the dry docks as well, which are abandoned. They are just sitting on land waiting for their time. So you definitely need to reach out through the internet just by exchanging messages and emails to find out about the availability of such yachts. Marinas do not hide this information. They are willing to make contact. They often want to get rid of such yachts because it's just dead weight for them that takes up space. And by the way, I forgot to mention another very interesting point about how you can own a yacht of a good size. That is generally expensive, but still within a reasonable budget for yourself. There's a concept called yacht share ownership. So people buy time that they spend on the yacht throughout the year. For example, 25% of the year? Percent of the year, yes. And for example, this share costs around 10, 15 or 20,000. And it could be a large yacht, it could be a brand new yacht, 54 feet long, which can cost around 100,000 euros. But you buy this 25% share, for example, for 20 or 30%. And it's such a great deal because first of all, people own the yacht as a group and they share the responsibility for maintenance. It doesn't all fall on just one person. And basically it's a budget-friendly option to try out a big yacht. You can always sell that share. So we used it, spent some time on it, and then sold it. It's common in Europe.
Listen, it's actually amazing because no matter how much I listen to you, I always end up with a ton of new information. I thought that when I first watched your 3-hour Zoom, which I had to set aside several days just to get through, I really thought that all the information was already there. After that Zoom, I thought I knew everything. But I understand that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
The tip of the iceberg.
Yes, exactly. Let's introduce ourselves, or rather, let me introduce you to the audience, and me too, because I'm basically a newbie. So here's the thing. The first time I saw it, I stumbled upon your message in the chat where we studied together. I just caught sight of your message about yachts, and I read it. It said something like there would be a Zoom session, and I thought, oh cool, I can check it out. Of course, back then I didn't know who you were, what you were about, or anything like that. Let's say you live on a yacht for about 8 years. I really couldn't imagine that, not just owning a yacht, but actually living on a yacht. So it completely blew my mind. And when it was time for that Zoom, of course, I didn't show up just like probably many others did, I watched it, checked the box that said it was interesting, and that was the end of it. But after that, I rewatched the Zoom and found the recording. I rewatched it and I was struck by how much energy and love you have when you talk about the sea and yachts, about this whole story. And honestly, it's like an endless, because how can I put it? It's really interesting. When I was preparing, well, actually I prepared this a while ago, but today I was working through the questions in more detail. I had this feeling that, it's like two completely different worlds, and with people like you, it feels like in our, let's say, our world of land, it seems like we don't really intersect with people like that, and it feels like there are just two different worlds, right? I don't know how it happened, but we crossed paths. There you go. So if you want, you can add a few more words about yourself.
Guys, in my past life, I was a designer. I, like everyone else, worked in an office. I had some dreams about traveling. As a child, I loved reading books about pirates. I never thought you could live such an adventurous life. The planet is our big home, and we, the yacht dwellers, are citizens of this planet, free from nationalities. In active action, actively live your life, not to exist as a pharmacy, or rather an office house, a pharmacy, a school, a kindergarten, and so on, a hospital, but to live it actively, enjoy every day, meet a huge number of different people. The planet is our big home, and we, the people who live on yachts, are just citizens of this planet. We don't divide ourselves by any nationalities. We are absolutely free people. People who live without masks, I tell everyone about this, are free. And who show themselves as they really are, because there's no point in pretending to be someone else. You never know when that person will meet you again. So I'm really happy to share this perfect community I'm in, the maritime community. And we are happy to receive flowers from all people. And I'm happy to share with everyone that there is such a wonderful opportunity to live on our planet.
You really described it like, that liqueur is like some seductive thing, that just came to lure you in. Subtitles by Dima Torzok.
I accept everyone. I've actually been talking about all this since 2016, and I can't stop because I'm amazed at how cool this lifestyle is. It's the perfect mindset because there's no stress. It's a super healthy way of living. Basically, you're always on the move and you don't need to work out because your muscles are getting a workout even when you're just sleeping thanks to the yacht rocking. These are super fresh products, a lot of different cultures, interacting with many new people, and there's plenty of free time to do things that you usually don't have time for in everyday life. And then I looked at people who said, oh no, we are very worried. What if something happens? We need some kind of stability. What if I get sick? I will be far from my hospital. I tell you guys, when you come to the sea, you don't get sick at all because your body adjusts to a completely new rhythm, and you just forget the word pharmacy. You don't need to go anywhere.
In the past, I owned a marketing agency. At our peak, we had 70 people, made $1 million in revenue, and had a valuation of $2 million. I was once offered to sell the company. I declined because I had big plans. However, after February 24th, everything collapsed. Directors and clients left, revenue dropped due to uncertainty. It became a heavy topic for me, and I felt it wasn't my story anymore. So, I closed the company, started anew, moved to a new apartment, learned to create a YouTube channel with Anton Liadov, and met you. The yacht dream has been long-standing. As a kid, I gave my dad a teacup. When I was offered to buy the company, I said, I'm planning to grow this business. I had big plans. But after February 24th, everything collapsed. Directors and people left, revenue dropped, clients left, and so on, due to uncertainty, and everything started to fall apart. This topic became heavy for me. I did it long and worked hard, but felt it wasn't my story. That company is past, and things changed. I started over, moved to a new apartment, closed the company, learned YouTube with Anton Liadov. I met you, and the yacht was a dream. As a kid, I gave my dad a teacup. It showed a picture with hot water. Plus, this is probably a topic that has been quite heavy for me. I've been doing it for a long time, working hard, and I felt inside that it wasn't really my story anymore. So that company is in the past, and now everything is starting to change for me. I started from scratch, I moved into a new apartment, I closed the company, and I went to learn how to create a YouTube channel with Anton Liadov and so on. Plus, I met you, and the whole yacht thing has been a long time dream for me. Just to give you an idea, when I was a kid, I gave my dad a cup, a teacup, right? It has a print that shows a picture when you pour hot water into it. Well, like that. So I specifically photoshopped a picture of a really cool yacht and wrote something like dreams come true. And so I gave that cup to my dad. And at that moment, of course, I had no idea that I would ever get there. I was just sure that someday I would, be somewhere far away in some other life, which is always not yours, it's somewhere further away, right? So there was a feeling that I would get there eventually. But it's really interesting that over time, when you start going down this so-called normal path, you know, this life, all your desires, dreams, and so on, they kind of fall out of focus. They drift away into the horizon, and you think, well, someday they'll happen, but for now I'm just here. Oh, there's always this endless horizon, but you never quite reach it. There you go. So I finally decided to make it happen, and with your help, as a specialist, it would be really cool if it works out.